Hey, this is Jonathon Hillhouse from Oh the Horror, and you're watching the Brutally Delicious podcast.
You doing all right?
Yeah, just chilling in my little quarantine box over here.
Yeah, that sucks. How you holding up out there?
It's rough. We're in California, so everything sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Virginia in Richmond, and it's not as bad as California, and I guess we don't have a governor kind of like yours, so it's not terrible, but it's bad nonetheless.
Yeah,
I don't know that really. For those not familiar with Oh the Horror, can you give us the brief 2-sentence boardroom pitch?
Let's see. We're a 3-piece horrorcore metal outfit from Sacramento, California, and we like to put on a good show.
And how are you dealing with the current world situation, pandemic, considering we can't all be out on the road touring? Are you guys taking the time to write new music and do that sort of thing? Or
absolutely, we completely we didn't stop at all. We just worked twice as hard. Honestly, we got a lot of music in the can. It's all about to come out. There's lots of new stuff's coming out this year and hopefully next year. But I know we got at least 2 to 3 albums worth of music we're working on right now that's almost done. Really?
Any kind of time frame as far as release dates?
I know the first single off the new album will be out this month or early next month.
Wait, and so are you guys going to do any kind of live stream or any kind of sort of thing like that to keep up without being able to tour? How do you plan on promoting, the record in the time of this?
We just did Attack of the Ninjas with Twisted and all of them. So we did a digital concert that way. We have our own that we're playing our current album that came out last July. Halloween 365. We're playing that front to back. That'll be out on February 12th. We're doing that through Live From events. So we got that going, and then I'm sure once this album drops and all the music videos are done, we'll be probably playing this one all the way through front to back as well.
You guys are not slowing down and letting the pandemic get the best of you. I mean, you're still doing the live streams. What was the response to the 365 one? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of people that were confused, and then there was a lot of people that got it. I was like, it's definitely not for everybody. We like to experiment a little too much.
But I mean, that's not a bad thing either, right? Because you get too much of the same stuff, and it's
exactly
redundant, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main goal for us. As I know I said we're like a horror metal outfit, but we're constantly mixing that main base with other genres, constantly pop music, rock, punk, whatever we can add it to the pot.
So what does a Oh the Horror show look like then, as far as crowd wise, if you got that mix of a genre?
It's a mix of people, honestly. A lot of people they have their favorite songs and then the rest of the album they don't like, so they show up, they hang out, they listen to the songs they like, and then they get in and they get out.
Right, so they just mix, going back and forth. Are you getting because you're doing a multiple genre kind of thing, are you getting different generations of fans too, like everyone from the kids to their parents, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. We've noticed that a lot. It's strange. I've met kids that were super into us, and then their dad shows up and they're like, "Oh, I love you too." And it's all over the board. Everything's all over the board for us.
Did that feel strange at all, or I mean, it's just an audience?
At first, it felt kind of strange. I don't know, because I growing up, I've been doing music since I was 14. So usually it was people my age or younger that were into what I was doing, and now it's a much broader spectrum than it was prior.
Yeah, I mean, I know I go to show. Well, before all this shit happened, going to shows, it would be me, being in my 50s, and then everybody. I'm taking my son, and they're still listening to that same kind of music, and it seems to work pretty well, and I think that's pretty cool that it's carrying on from, generation to generation.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How are you guys writing all your music? Are you taking, in this pandemic, are you able to get together and write in a rehearsal room, or are you taking advantage of technology?
A little bit of both, mostly together. we write music backwards, so a lot of it starts with me coming up with all the vocals ahead of time, and then my guitarist and clean singer producer Grady Finch, I hand all my pieces into him, and then we sit in the room together, and then we can like just start mashing Lego pieces together until we find something that we're really happy with. And then our rhythm guitarist Jeremy comes in and picks it apart one last time to make sure that everything's the way it needs to be, and then it's out to the masses.
That's perfect. But are you guys, when you're writing, are you writing, obviously very theatrical, so are you writing with the stage show in mind, or are you writing a song just for the song's sake?
Both. It just depends on what I was working on at that point, because we have an underlying story we're building with our like the Super Devil and all these like puppets and stuff we've come up with, and then we're adding to the stage show now. Before we got hit with the COVID, we started implementing these like toilet paper roll launchers and stuff that we were launching into the crowd and stuff like that. So like everything is about the show, but it doesn't have to be. Some of it's just like, this is a great song concept. The melody is great. We're gonna put this on the record.
And is there, I mean, obviously there's a theme behind it, but is there something you want your fans to take away from after listening to an Oh the Horror record or seeing a show, or is it just having a good time?
Mostly having a good time, but I think a lot of people can take away like I said, like we do pop song, like we've worked on a few pop songs, but we look like this. So like you don't have to limit yourself in any way. Like if you're doing a horror band and you have this great love song, fucking put it out. You know, like you don't have to hold back, and I think that can apply to life in general.
Are there any horror stories, pardon the pun, of onstage incidents that have occurred during that, using that theatric kind of stuff, or is that not a thing?
Not usually, not the theatrics themselves, mostly the technology. Like a lot of our music is backing tracks because we don't have a live drummer, we don't have bass. It's just two guitars and then me doing vocals, and then the other guys do background vocals as well. Grady does most of the clean singing now. But like I've had the laptop crap out like right before we go on stage, or I've had like I used to have my laptop like tell me when something popped up, it would like read it out loud. And that's happened on stage a couple of times where like in the middle of the set you just hear like Siri just like da 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 and like stuff like that. We've had that, but nothing to do to the theatrics now.
Awesome. So what do you have planned? I know you said got 3 records worth of stuff to go here. Are you going to release the full 3 records, or are you just going to bump singles, or how are you going to do that? Because there's a new model, right? In the music business, most people are releasing just singles.
Yeah, I think we're going the single route for right now. But you will definitely get a collection of the album also.
Because I'm an old school guy, and I grew up listening to the record and listening to the way people sequence it. Because there was an art in sequencing and doing all of that stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is lost now. With kids like my kids' generation, they're just give me one song and that's all I want to do is add it to my playlist. Yeah, that's
the model now. I agree with you. I'm buy the album, or if I'm streaming it, either way. If a new album comes out and it's an artist I really enjoy, I run it from front to back a couple times before I start picking out my favorite songs.
Right. And even when I was growing up, the artwork was important. I wanted to know where it was recorded, who the musicians were, all that, even who they thanked. As silly as that sounds, but that's all kind of gone now.
Yeah, it's gone now. But I think if everyone like merges the two, like because everyone's doing the singles only. But I feel like you can still do the singles and then have it lead up to the record itself. I don't understand like just being like, here's one song a month. If that, some of these artists are just dropping them out like one every 2 to 3 months.
Yes.
If that, and it bothers the hell out of me because a lot of these artists I love to death, and I just want to hear more.
Right.
And they're not giving it to me at the speed. I like binge listening to stuff.
Right. And I get it. I mean, you have to make money, and not nobody, but the majority of kids are not buying full records. So I get the idea, but I agree with you as well. I think you need the whole thing, or I want the whole thing so I can just listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So we don't have a crystal ball, but where do you see the music business coming out of at the end of this? Because it's going to have to reinvent itself, right?
It'll probably have to reinvent itself, but I think honestly, the entertainment industry as a whole will be a lot stronger because people are just kind of getting starved of being entertained and going out and being able to see some kind of show. Everyone in my like circle is go out and like go to the theater, go see the play,
Right.
go see the band live. Like everyone in my entire vicinity, that's what we do. And we're all just sitting here waiting for it to finally let go so we can all just lose our minds over it
Sure.
and just go all out.
Do you think, though, that there's going to be every band wants to get back out and play? Do you think there's going to be like a flood then?
Absolutely. I absolutely think that I have this conversation all the time. I think it's going to be oversaturated immediately. Everyone's going to want to be on tour, and there's not going to be places for you to play because it's so backed up.
And people aren't going to have the money to see those shows because you can't go see all those shows.
You can't see everything. Yeah, it's going to be a big boom, and it's going to be really hard. I think it's going to go back to being like old school like punk shows where you're doing it in somebody's living room and just filling their house.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. I feel like if everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing and how to get around it, a lot of the newer artists I don't think are going to do as well as the other ones because they don't know how to like scrub something together.
Right.
I was like, because if we can't get into a venue, I'll pack out my mom's house.
Right, because you're playing, but that's different though, because I think people like you and other bands like you're playing for the love of playing, not for just being. Because somebody who will play a house show is somebody who's playing for the love of playing, not just I'm in a rock band sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll play to 5 people.
Yeah, I'll play to just my parents in the front row. That's fine. As long as I'm on there and I'm showing off what I built, I don't mind at all.
So let me ask you a question, and I probably know the answer, but people listening may not. Is a show for you? So whether there's your mom and dad in the front row and that's it, or 10,000 people, is it the same show, or do you prepare differently, or?
Oh, same show's a show, man. If whether there's 1 or 1,000 people in front of me, I'm giving my all. I'm rolling on the floor. I'm on the stage. I'm in the crowd. Whatever. I'm just there to have a good time. If anything, if there's less people there, I'd probably go harder for less people than I would for more people.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
That's interesting. Because I know when we get back to this, you may be playing house shows. I was just curious if you prepare differently, or if it feels differently or if indeed a show is a show.
Show's a show usually. I would say like a larger show. I'd be a little more conscious of like how I was doing everything versus like a smaller show. I feel it's more intimate and I can be a little more loose with it, and then just like be over the top with the performance because there's less people to judge me, I guess.
Right. Would you be okay? You said you would play house shows, but how would you be able to scale back your show? You'd have to you'd bare bones it and still put on an the Horror show?
Yeah, I could bare bones it, but honestly, we've built our entire like live show to be like tourable in like a Honda Accord.
Really?
Yeah, we don't use amps. We go straight in. Everything's direct in. So literally, we need like 4 lines for a PA system to operate, and then we usually run like an LCD TV, and our puppets and the Super Devil and stuff like that talk on it in between shows, and I can grab my little toilet paper gun, no problem, for a house show.
Now, I guess you said you have no drummer, so that's probably the biggest thing is the drummers. Are you using like Kemper modular amps and stuff?
Something like that, yeah. That's not my forte. I'm not the guitar guy. They've got some fancy amp modular pedals with all kinds of crazy stuff in there, all that magic.
That makes it easy to travel in a Honda Accord then. You don't need the...
Yeah, I was like, you throw 4 guitars and 2 or 3 pedal boards. I use a lot of vocal effects, but that you could fill the trunk with just the gear and still have room for backpacks and clothes and everything, and then the 3 of us in the car, we're chilling.
That's awesome. Are you guys mixing and mastering your stuff yourself as well, or you...
Yeah. Yeah, everything we're doing is in-house. Nobody touches All the Horror but All the Horror.
What about production-wise? You have a producer, or you guys produce it yourself as well?
Grady, like I said, my guitar, he's our lead guitarist, clean singer and producer. He's doing everything. So literally, once I'm done demoing my vocals and getting the whole concept of the songs done, I go in with Brady and we sit down and we use Reason and a few other DAWs, and we just sit down, we grind it out, and then we mix master it, and then it's done.
That's pretty cool. All in-house and all your own, so you don't have to give up any control to anybody.
No, not really.
That's pretty awesome. If fans want to get a hold of you, where do they find you?
You can find us at Oh the Horror Squad on Instagram and Facebook. Twitter, we are Oh the Horror 916, and then you can find us anywhere. Welcome to the Underground as well.
And are you pretty active social media wise?
Yeah, all the time. We have our own podcast called The Live Stream. We go live every Sunday around 6:20 p.m. PST, and we talk about horror movies and all kinds of fun stuff.
Any kind of playing involved, or just talking?
Just a podcast, just riff on like old movie trailers and stuff like that, and that's it's pretty much the show.
So, music aside, what's your favorite horror movie of all time?
All time is the Evil Dead franchise. Anything in that franchise, I'm all about it. Close second would be Scream. Big fan of Scream.
Nice. What about
R.I.P. Wes Craven?
What about I like Wes Craven as well. Like Serpent in the Rainbow is one of my favorites. That old
brutal
stuff. What about the like the 40s kind of or the 30s and 40s kind of horror movies? You guys like those as well or no?
Talking like old school Universal monsters.
Yeah.
Hammer films. Yeah, I'm into all that stuff. I'm big into like the cheesy stuff as well, mostly the cheesy stuff. So I'm big into like Full Moon, so like Puppet Master, Killjoy, Evil Bong, and then like Trauma, Toxic Avenger, Poultrygeist, all that stuff.
That's pretty cool. Anything else I missed that you want to mention?
I think we're good. Just make sure everyone gets ready for February 12th. We'll be going live on Live From, and we're playing the whole Halloween 365 album front to back, and we played it with a live drummer, so it'll be different for once. It'll be really cool.